Congressman Mark Pocan drops by and takes questions from callers for a full hour. It's fascinating. Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Right now, Congressman Mark Pocan is with us. He is the co-chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. He represents the 2nd District of Wisconsin in the U.S. House of Representatives. His website is pocan.house.gov, P-O-C-A-N. You can tweet him at Rep. Mark Pocan. He's with us for the hour. It's our Middays with Mark segment. You can call, and he's available to answer your questions or listen to your opinions. 202-808-9925 is the telephone number. Congressman, welcome back.
Oh, thanks, Tom. Glad to be here.
Great to have you with us. So I'm curious your take or your thoughts on the state of the Mueller investigation and William Safire back in '92 referred to him as, in the New York Times, as cover-up General Barr because he had covered up Iran-Contra and Iraq-gate back in '92. What are your thoughts on all this?
I think he's kept the nickname, and now we're going to have to use it again. I think we all were surprised to find out that a letter had been written to him from Robert Mueller about how he characterized the report in that first summary. And then it appears he may have lied to Congress when he said he didn't know what Mr. Mueller thought about it. I think, the hearing today will be very interesting to see the responses and how he actually answers some of the questions. We already know he's been answering some of that already. But, you pointed this out a long time ago, Tom, about his history. I think you were one of the first people I had heard talk about all that he did back in the Nixon administration, and now we're seeing it all happen again. So, for Donald Trump to, again, claim he's been exonerated by that report, which we all know, anyone who's read it knows that's not true. Now if he starts to make it harder for people to come to Congress and testify to get clarity about what's in the report, he is pushing us to something like impeachment proceedings. He's pushing us to be forced to get the information, and he's showing the American people that he lied to them about being exonerated because innocent people don't act like that. And I think, Donald Trump will dig his own problems by doing this.
Yeah. It was, by the way, it was during the senior Bush administration.
I'm sorry, Bush. Did I say Nixon? I'm sorry, Bush.
I figured that's what you meant, but
Yeah.
I'm curious your thought. I mean, you look at the Nixon impeachment. Article 1 was obstruction of justice. Article 2 was abuse of power. Article 3 was contempt of Congress. Refusing to let people testify. Article 4 was the Cambodia bombing, which was, arguably a war crime. Not even arguably, it was a war crime. And Article 5 was failure to pay taxes, of all things. Yeah. I'm wondering your thoughts and what you think is the sense of your colleagues with regard to the possibility of impeachment in the U.S. House of Representatives, or whether, one of the issues and one of the debates and the position I've been taking on this is that in the Clinton impeachment, as soon as the Starr report came in and all its pornographic glory, the Republicans said, okay, cool, we got the report, let's go. And they just voted for impeachment and threw it to the Senate. And the Senate, of course, didn't vote to impeach. In the Nixon case, in the case of Nixon, you had, an analysis that was happening, but you also had months, literally, of hearings in the Senate that were chaired by Sam Ervin that laid bare for the American people in a way that was absolutely irrefutable that this guy's a crook. And we saw where, when the hearings started 2 months, at the beginning of the process, I forget the month, but it was a 2-month period, 9-week period. At the beginning of that process, only 19% of Americans thought Nixon should be impeached. Right. By the beginning of the week in which he resigned, which was before there was a formal declaration that we're going to impeach this guy, there was 57% in public opinion. And that was the point at which Barry Goldwater went over to the White House and said, buddy, you got to go. And and so I'm wondering, I've been advocating there should be hearings to bring this stuff out. And if you call them impeachment hearings, you get some extra Article 3 powers for the Article 1 branch for Congress, because and you eliminate the president's ability to pardon, because that pardon has one single exception, and that's except during times of impeachment. So it would kind of ring fence Trump. But anyhow, those are my thoughts on it. I'm curious yours.
Yeah, and I just had a lot of town halls in the last couple of weeks when I was back home in 6 different counties in my district, and this conversation came up a lot. I think this is more a parallel of the Nixon times than the Clinton times, because it's obvious we have to have Bob Mueller come before Congress, right? It's obvious from reading the report, Don McGahn. There's a conflict in what the president's saying right now and what's in the report, so Don McGahn is the only person who can provide that clarity, and some other witnesses that we're going to have to bring in. If the president finds a way to encourage people not to, and he obstructs us getting witnesses to come, and he claims he's innocent. And he even claims he hasn't had a chance to refute the charges that are in the report. We're giving him a chance. And if he doesn't do any of that, I think, in places like Wisconsin and most of the country that don't live and breathe Washington politics, we live by a smell test. And it looks like you're lying by any smell test. If you claim you're innocent, but you won't let anyone appear before Congress to provide clarity, you look guilty. And if he does that, he may push us into impeachment proceedings in order to get more information. But I do think that crucial middle period is the period we're in right now, and I think that's the wisest way to proceed.